Hello, and welcome to Green Dragon, a monthly show brought to you by Howard Community College, where we talk about green initiatives in the state and county and ongoing sustainability efforts at HCC. Also, ideas and ways for you to be more sustainable at home. I'm Bob Marietta, HCC's Environmental Health and Safety Supervisor, and I thank you for being with me today. My guest today is Brooke Barrick, Associate Director of the Parent Scholars Program at Howard Community College.
Hi, Bob. I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Now, Brooke, can you tell us a little bit about what your program is going to do for students at HCC?
Sure. So the Parent Scholars Program actually was born from the Career Links program, which no longer exists here at HCC, but it did exist for 35 years. And previously it served student parents as well as displaced homemakers. And what we're currently moving forward towards doing is focusing our efforts more on supporting student parents here at the college. Parent scholars specifically are for student parents or students who are raising children who are also of low or moderate income and maintain a GPA of 2.0 or higher.
Now, have there been programs like this at other institutions, and have they been successful enough for you to follow them? How much are you inventing as you develop things?
Sure, absolutely. There are definitely programs at other institutions. In fact, Howard Community College is a part of a cohort through Generation Hope called Family U, where other colleges across the nation are working with this particular organization to try to make their campuses more family friendly for our student parents. And we are 1 year into a 2-year program with Family U, and again, collaborating with other colleges and universities and getting ideas from them and coming up with new and improved ideas.
So now, Brooke, I know you attended public school in Howard County. You took classes at HCC, raised your children here. What of those experiences will you use to guide the parents in our program as they adapt to meet their own educational goals?
Absolutely. So, as per what you said, I did raise my children here in Howard County, and I'm also a product of Howard County Public Schools. I'm a lifelong learner, so not only have I taken courses here at HCC, but I continue to take classes whenever possible. I'm also an instructor here. But what I would advise for student parents in terms of all of this and things that I can offer to them is when I was working on my master's degree, I was raising my children. And at the time, I was no longer married. So I was a single mom and raising my kids and working towards my master's degree. And even though that's different than undergraduate, some of the challenges are still the same, which is making the time and prioritizing, right? Because obviously your children are going to come first, and you always have to bear that in mind. So when you are planning to take your courses and to pursue a degree or pursue a career, the thing you want to always bear in mind is, how do I work that into my family and my priorities with my family? So you don't want to take on too much. I see a lot of students who come through our doors, especially student parents, who are so eager to improve their life circumstances that they want to hurry up and get it done. And they'll take off more than they can chew. So prioritization and managing expectations, including those things that we expect of ourselves, is key. So you just have to come up with a game plan, make it specific, make it actionable, make it timely, and work it out. We have the resources here at HCC to support you. Absolutely take advantage of them.
So what steps in your varied career do you think led you to be the one that we chose to take on this role?
Wow, and you hit it. I do have a varied career. So my background here at HCC, many years ago, I worked in student life. That was before I was married or had children. And then within the last 5 years, I worked in academic advising, and then I worked with Howard Pride. Howard Pride is similar to the student parents population, or Parent Scholars Program, in that we work with very specific populations, right? So that was probably the last piece that came into play to contribute to my being here. In addition to that, working on my master's degree at the same time, that played into it. And then I've had some lived experience with being low to moderate income. There was a time frame while I was working on my master's degree after working with that employer that I was actually unemployed for almost 3 years. And so that was a real challenge. And even though I finished my master's degree in the earlier part of that stint, there was a long time frame where I was juggling a lot of things and learning a lot about what it means to try to get back in the fold once you've been sort of booted out of the fold, if you will. So that was a challenge. So when my students come into the office and they're talking about lived experience, oftentimes they think I can't relate, right? Because here I am sitting in this desk as a director. But the truth of the matter is, been there, done that, we can talk. And I can relate to a lot of their circumstances.
Brooke, I've worked with you on many sustainability organizations over the years, and you've even chaired the Howard County Sustainability Board and worked closely with our county executive, Calvin Ball, on many of his social justice and sustainability efforts. How does that relate to what you're doing now for our parents?
I think probably the best way to put this is environmental justice is more key to raising our children than anything. And we're working with students who are raising children and simultaneously getting an education. So we have a very unique opportunity to educate parents on initiatives that pertain to social justice and environmental justice, right? Because we got to leave the children a planet they can live on. Okay, so that's key. And our education, we can't just sort of do it in a bubble and pick a subject and focus on that without addressing the very real concerns and challenges that come along with, like, climate change, that come along with other environmental issues like food insecurity, etc. So we have to make sure that these parents are aware of how these environmental justice issues impact them and impact their children. And then there's also different ways that they can get involved that are very family and children friendly. Howard County is replete with opportunities to expose children to how to be environmental stewards, right? We've got the Nature Conservancy up in Ellicott City. We also have Robinson's Nature Center. And there are all kinds of ways that children and their parents can get involved through recreation and parks to really sort of understand the lands that we exist on here, that we inhabit here in Howard County, and how to take care of it. We also have, don't let me even forget it, the Community Ecological Institute, right? So CEI, which is a stone's throw away from here. There's so many environmental issues that can be addressed there, and with children in tow, in a very family-friendly environment. There are gardens there that are being grown and people who benefit from the food that's grown there. So that's, again, another opportunity for many of our student parents to participate in that which is going on around the county while they're taking their classes here.
Brooke, scientists tell us that the Earth will be fine without us. But what's your philosophy about the future of humanity?
That's a big one. So, do I believe that the planet's going to be the planet whether we're here or not? And we really need to get that. We're not saving the planet when we take on environmental initiatives. We're saving an environment that sustains human life, right? It's funny, there's a video, a Diné woman. Diné is another word for Navajo. It means the people. But that nation, actually, she's done some history, and she talks about, like, how the Diné worked with nature to not only herd bison, but grow and forage for food. And they did it in a way that worked with the planet and not against it, which seems to be this really nasty, bad habit of ours. And so my philosophy is, yeah, the planet can live without us, but why do we want it to? Like, it's perfectly primed for us to be here. We should take advantage of that and not destroy it in the process.
So do you see, is there really any dividing line between social justice and environmental justice?
Absolutely not. I think they are very deeply embedded with one another. I think the unfortunate thing is that I don't think people see how deeply embedded they are with one another. Because when you talk about food deserts in the city and lack of access to food, well, food grows out of the earth. So why do we have a problem finding food when the earth produces it in plenty, right? In abundance. When you talk about environmental justice, the people who are most greatly impacted by it are people who are living in impoverished circumstances, right? Which unfortunately is a large number of our student population in our cohort. So when you're looking at cityscapes and tree canopy and the lack thereof, and you start seeing greater instances of asthma and respiratory related diseases and stressors and all that other good stuff, and heat related disease. Yeah, climate action and a number of the things that we're doing to the planet. You've got lead paint issues, you've got water issues like in Flint, Michigan, you've got flooding issues. Like, all of these things tend to impact people who are living in marginalized communities more so than anyone else. And so for us to separate the two, I don't think it can be done. Like, you have to pay attention to environmental issues.
Thanks for that. So what impact can you see Howard Community College and our faculty, staff, and students having on climate change and other sustainability issues like social justice and the economy?
I think first and foremost, we're an educational institution. Educate ourselves, right? So make sure that we're paying attention to the issues and doing our own homework and researching and getting into organizations that are doing something about it and participating. It doesn't have to be a huge commitment on your part, but at least start somewhere. Find out how simple it is to do things like reduce, reuse, recycle, right? Find out what you can do to be a more energy efficient home. Find out what benefits there are to purchasing an electric bike or a hybrid vehicle. Just reach out. The Office of Community Sustainability here in Howard County has a lot of information. But in addition to that, just do the homework yourself. Start having that conversation with other people. And if you don't know much, there's a lot of lingo and, conversations that tend to be very heady about environmental issues. And sometimes it just starts with, what can I do better?
Yeah, I like that. What can I do better? So, Brooke, what do you read or listen to these days to keep up with the rapid changes in our political and social environment? And any particular podcasts you listen to?
So I'm an NPR junkie. So I listen to NPR, and I don't always know exactly which podcast it is that I'm listening to. They just all sort of go by, and I listen to them like feverishly. I can't get enough of NPR. It's very funny. But there's so much information that comes out there. And sometimes, I will get a hold of a podcast and go in and check it out. And of course, yours, Bob. So I'm just really, I just try to stay in touch with current events as much as possible. And typically NPR puts me in the right direction. Like, I'll hear a story and all of a sudden I'll feel the need to go do the research. And so there's nothing in particular that I do. It just goes out like that.
I think I'm right there with you. And thank you for the shameless plug. I'm going to out you now and ask you to tell people about your little side gig that you have going on, where you are a DJ for parties and dances. What can you tell us about that?
That's really funny. Funny you bring that up. I actually passed the DJ business on to my daughter. And so she does do karaoke and DJ gigs. But just to give you a little backdrop, about 22 years ago, I started doing karaoke for fun as a form of stress relief. And of course, what do we do when we find something that helps us relieve stress? We turn it into a business. So I became a DJ doing the thing that I love very much. It's so much fun. And one of the things that I wanted to do, and and I hope my daughter will carry it on, is to do partying with a purpose, which is where you use your DJ skills to support nonprofits and things that are fighting the good fight for things like the environment, social justice, environmental justice, etc., so that people can connect and network in an environment that's a whole lot of fun. But I do love me some karaoke, and I love music.
That sounds like fun. So new parents or new student parents that come to the college, or ones that are considering coming to the college, how should they reach out? How do they get involved in your program?
Got it. So if they go to the Howard Community College website, and in the search bar at the tippy top, you can put in Parent Scholars, and it'll take you to our page. And on that page, you'll find a link for an interest form, and then we will reach out to you with an application. You submit the application, and there's an intake process. And we will meet with you. We will get an idea of what your goals are, and then we will help you get started. We have multiple people on staff. We currently have a case manager named Eileen Diggs. And Eileen works with students to help them find the necessary resources to support their education, meaning it's really hard for you to get your studies done if you're worried about whether or not you have a roof over your head or food in your stomach and your child's stomach, or if all your bills are paid, right? So Eileen works specifically with students to help them find the resources to support them while they're pursuing their education, like the holistic approach, right? Then we have a young woman who's coming on board. Her name is Dale Bowser, and she will be our completion specialist who works predominantly with academic issues. And so she helps you set academic goals and what you need to do to achieve them. And then we also have access to mental health counseling, career counseling, etc. We do all kinds of activities to get students involved and meeting other student parents, because one of the things about being student parents is oftentimes they don't know that other student parents exist. It's a very underestimated population. 1 in 5 students are raising children at the same time they're going to school.
Wow. So what can faculty and staff and even students are already here at the campus? What can we do to help these parent scholars? What can we reach out? How can we give them our support?
Sure. So let's see. Wow, that's such a big question. I know one of the things that we're working toward with some administrators is to create a family-friendly space. We're currently creating more student-parent study spaces where children can come with their parents to just come in and chill out and have fun with toys and stuff while mom or dad are working on their schoolwork. So that's number one. For faculty, I would dare say probably the biggest thing that you can do for a student parent is be flexible. Oftentimes they don't really, they don't meet the criterion for accommodations like a student with disability, right? But they still need those additional supports. And so recognize that sometimes life is happening to our students, and to just be gracious and flexible whenever you can be, within reason, obviously. With regard to staff, flexibility, patience, and probably being more holistic in the work that you do, meaning don't just try to answer one question at a time. get a bigger handle on what it is that the student needs so that they don't have to come back and forth. Because oftentimes, just the ability to get in front of a staff member is a challenge for a student parent. And so the other thing is make sure that you are just sort of leaving that window open for students to be able to express themselves. A lot of student parents feel like there's a stigma attached to being a student and a parent at the same time. And so they may not disclose that. So create a safe space for them to be vulnerable and work with them whenever you can. And as for other students, just offer support. Maybe reach out to a student parent who's in your class and see if there's anything that you can do to help support them. Maybe you can babysit every once in a while if that's reasonable. Or maybe you can create a study group where student parents are welcome. And so, yeah, just that. Just be open and creative in the ways that you can offer support to our student parents.
Well, just the number of students that this will be impacting. You said 1 in 5. So
that's on a national level.
Yeah. We've got our work cut out for us, and I think we've got the perfect person spearheading it in you and your staff up there. So we're looking forward to seeing big things.
I'm really excited about some of the things that we're going to be doing. We've got all kinds of new initiatives that we're talking about, working with the county with a Getting Ahead group, working with career services to help create very clear pathways to employment, working with the workforce development area to connect them to apprenticeships, just all kinds of different initiatives. I'm really excited about what we're going to be doing with Parent Scholars.
Yeah, your excitement is obvious. we enjoy seeing that. Well, Brooke, we're getting toward the end of our time, okay, for our show here. I'd like to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Bob. This has been a pleasure.
Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'll be back next month with another guest and another sustainable topic. In the meantime, if you have ideas or comments, contact with me at rmarietta@howardcc.edu. Listen to other Green Dragon episodes wherever you find your podcasts. You can also watch us on Howard Community College's YouTube page. Now, don't forget to share, like, comment, and let others know to join us and help us take care of our world, because every small step each of us takes can make a big difference when we all work together. Thank you.